VACC has been at the forefront of innovation and change in the auto industry from its inception. 4 years before the start of the century, a technological revolution changed the face of Australia, the motor car, with the steam-powered buggy of Herbert Thompson. By World War I, an Adelaide saddler, James Alexander Holden, started making motor body parts. He went into business with an American automotive giant, and General Motors Holden was born. 1918 saw a small group of garage proprietors meet in Bendigo to sketch out what would become Australia's most successful, stable and effective employer association, with a shared goal to campaign and effect change for the industry. Times were tough, but heroes were bountiful. Australia suffered badly during the Great Depression. Car ownership dipped, but by the turn of the decade, 600,000 motor vehicles were on our roads. That's one car for every 11 people. During these challenging times, VACC formed its own insurance company. As the tide turned, VACC equipped its members with skills to boost sales of tyres and accessories, as well as repairing second-hand cars.
In consequence of a persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland, Great Britain has declared war upon her, and that as a result, Australia is also at war.
By the 40s, the car was everywhere. World War II took hold and forced car manufacturers into war service, and petrol was rationed. But necessity is the mother of invention. Post-war Australia saw an immigration boom, with many finding their way onto auto assembly lines and into workshops. Manufacturing started on a grand scale. GMH created the Great Aussie Car. After decades of suffering came prosperity. Employment was high and people were encouraged to spend freely. New cars outstripped population growth, and there was a new driver at the wheel.
Where women designers have opened up a whole new field of employment.
Cars were changing the way families connected. Another technology was linking us to the rest of the world.
Good evening and welcome to television.
National pride peaked as the world watched on.
Olympic City, 1956.
By the end of the decade, our population broke through the 10 million barrier. Communication has always been at the heart of VACC philosophy. Not many industry organisations can claim a 100-year unbroken line of connection, with journals and several different mastheads, keeping members informed on issues and debates at the heart of their livelihoods. The Beatles hit our shores, and the Japanese landed on Australian soil after import licences were abolished. Size started to matter when it came to cars with rising petrol costs, fueling the Think Small campaign. The Mini and the VW ruled right through until 1997. The Chamber lobbied for annual roadworthy inspections to combat car yard cowboys. VACC's campaigns change, but the message remains the same, and laws were passed to help drivers protect themselves. Money talked and sex sold, with the 69 Holden Monaro a chick magnet. The 70s saw VACC broker an uneasy peace deal between petrol resellers and oil companies as fuel wars swept across the state. Aborigines flew the flag for the first time, and a girl from Barallam took the tennis world by storm. By the mid-70s, seatbelts were compulsory and there were speed limits on our roads, but the car was still the ultimate sex symbol. Our largest institutions were under siege.
Well, may we say, God save the Queen, because nothing will save the Governor-General.
And smaller, more fuel-efficient cars, like the 1975 Car of the Year, the Holden Gemini, grew in popularity. AC/DC lost its frontman, but he will never be forgotten. Excess was under scrutiny, and fuel emissions drove VACC debate as environment took priority. Alice Anderson's garage ran workshops for women. VACC's Women in Automotive agenda continued the fight for workshop equality. But it was a motor mechanic from Erinsborough who put VACC's female apprenticeship scheme in the national psyche. Women had always been a part of the auto industry. In 1986, VACC fought hard against the fringe benefits tax and was integral in the formation of a national industry-based superannuation scheme. Computers are now the heartbeat of the auto industry, and the mechanic is now a technician, with technology at the forefront of engineering. VACC continues to facilitate educational opportunities for the trade. Forced dealership closures culminated in the longest court battle in Australian motor industry history. A voice of reason, VACC backed Ken Morgan's legal battle for dealer rights and better franchise arrangements. And petrol retailing went through a supermarket revolution, with the chamber staring down government in the face of food giants flexing muscle at the petrol pump. Membership cry for a rebrand was met with a speedy response. VACC was in good hands when it chose Charles Bud Tingwall to front its ad campaign.
So when you want to be sure, look for the sign of the motor industry professional, the VACC sign, and you know you're in good hands.
And the end of an era for the Australian International Motor Show. The Chamber was keen to embrace new channels of communication, and it was a wrap for the longest-running auto show in the nation's history. VACC was moving on. VACC always eyed the future, and its Horizon Blueprint was no exception. Environmental sustainability prompted the Chamber's Green Stamp accreditation, rewarding businesses who adopt these principles in day-to-day business. VACC's desire to continuously improve its commercial proposition provided the impetus for the creation of Our Auto. In 2014, Our Auto set about developing an array of innovative services for VACC members and motorists across Australia. Over the past century, Australia's automotive direction has had plenty of colour and costume changes, and VACC has been there every step of the way.
As at the beginning of our story, 100 years ago, today VACC is embarking on a new journey into a new frontier. The automotive industry will change more in the next 5 years than it has in the past 50, and we are prepared for it. With a solid financial base, strong leadership, and our position as the leading automotive industry association, we are ready to embark on this journey. Welcome to the future. As we evolve, we will hold true to our traditions of support and service for our members. Our Auto allows us to extend our reach nationally and internationally into new and emerging markets to ensure our long-term future and prosperity. Our leading position in identifying and launching successful programs to benefit our members and strengthen our industry will only intensify in our new and emerging world. The future of mobility and its ecosystem will change, and we see it coming. Traditional, electric, alternative fuel and autonomous vehicles will cohabitate. How people buy and use these vehicles will change from what we know today. But what we do know is that there will be a place for business that adapts and embraces this opportunity, and we will be with you. The future is unknown as it was 100 years ago, but it will be amazing, and we all have an important part to play in it.